Not sure I'll be able to see the chat while I'm talking, but I think Melanie is going to watch it for me. So if you have any questions, just throw it up there and we'll try to make sure and answer all of those questions. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes? Okay, great. All right, so today I'm going to show you how to use the OCC's website for all of your research needs. So first of all, this is the OCC website. If you don't see the three commissioners' pictures, then you're probably not at the right spot. So you need to make sure that it looks like this. And I'm guessing since you guys are all on Zoom, you know how to turn your computer on. So I guess we can skip over that part. So first, today we're going to take a well and we're going to run all the way through how you can research it on our website. So that I've pre-picked a well, and it's called Narvel the Gart Hog 1-7. So first, we're just going to pretend I only know the name of the well. I only know that it's called Narvel the Gart Hog. So what am I going to do from here? So first I'm going to go to the divisions tab, and I'm going to go down to oil and gas, and then over and down to databases. And then I'm going to click there. So I'm going to pick this well browse database. Now this is one of our older databases, but I like to use it for searching wells by name. You can also narrow it down to county. I just think it's a little bit easier to do that way. You'll also notice right underneath it is a well browse database instruction manual, that, and up here under database links it says all databases instruction manual. Those are the same thing, and it's going to open up a PDF for you that's going to show you everything that I'm showing you today in screenshots. So if you guys take note of that, so you can print it up later if you need it. So first I am going to click on well browse database, and it looks like this. So again, we have Narvel the Gart Hog, so I'm going to type in Narvel in our well name. So you want to leave this as generic as possible. So you want to pick out a unique name in the well name, leave off all the numbers because you don't know how they entered it. So we're just going to put Narvel, and we're going to hit search, and we're going to see what we come up with here. So you see we have 5 entries here called Narvel the Gart Hog 1-7. So first, we're going to look at these API numbers and note that all of them are the same with the exception of this 0001, 0002, and so on. So we can assume that these are all the same well because they all have the same base API number. This 0001 indicates that there were amended 1002As submitted at some point. So we now know that our Narvel the Gart Hog 1-7 is in section 7, 5 north, 8 west. So if we click on this little magnifying glass, it's going to bring up some more details. Now, some people have an issue here where they click on the magnifying glass and it just makes the previous screen bigger. Let's see. So it would just make this screen bigger like this. If that happens to you, then you have a pop-up blocker issue. So you need to go in and turn off your pop-up blocker, or you can hit Control-Alt on your keyboard. At the same time, you click on this little magnifying glass and it should bypass your pop-up blocker. So we've clicked on the magnifying glass and we get this well details. It tells us the operator name, territory resources. It gives their operator number, county, so on and so forth. So we can also click on these buttons down here. The production button will show you production if this is classified as a gas well. So if we click on each magnifying glass, gives us more information. So this is the production that we have available for 2020. If we wanted 2019, we would have to go back up here and click on, type in 2019, and then hit the magnifying glass, and then hit the magnifying glass. This is the total for the year. So please note that our website is only going to have gas production on wells that are classified as gas in the databases. The reason for that is gas is reported to the Corporation Commission. Oil is reported to the tax commission. There is a way to find oil production, and I will show you that later. But they're only required to report gas production on wells that are classified as gas wells. So oil wells, this is just going to be blank. So if you come across this and it's blank, don't assume that the well is not active. So now we can go back up to the top and we can click all images, and then we can scroll down and it'll show us all of the documents related to this well. All right. So now that we know what the legal description of our well is, I'm going to take you to a different database that I really like for doing well research. So I'm going to go back to our home page, and we are going to go again, divisions, oil and gas, and then over and down to databases, just like we did before. So we're going to scroll down, and this time we're going to click oil and gas data mining. And then we will have a blank screen with just a little bit of information at the top. We're going to please choose text data mining. If you want to choose the GIS data mining, I'll show you what it looks like. It has a map. This is a little bit more technical to use, and I particularly don't use it that often. So if you want to use this, I can hook you up with somebody that can help you navigate it. But we're just going to use text data mining. So it's going to just be a blank screen with a box over here on the left corner. So in our box, we can put information like the API number or the legal description. So for our situation, we're going to put in our legal description. So we're going to put it in as two-digit numbers with spaces where there used to be dashes, where there should be dashes. So we're going to put a 07 and then a space, and then a 05N space, 08W, and then we're going to hit find. So this may take a little bit, and it's going to be really subtle. So you have to kind of give it a second and just wait. This is usually where I tell a joke.
I have a question for you real quick, Sydney.
Yes, go for it.
Okay, why is it that you use spaces instead of the dashes again in your search criteria here?
Well, it's because of the way that they set this database up. I'm guessing because if you hit the switch to advanced filter button up here, it would give you a space for each section and a space for the township and a space for the range. So I'm guessing the way they wrote the software, it doesn't read the dashes properly. And if you were to pull up any wells, it's not going to have the dashes in there. So I think it's just a software writing issue.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So now we finally found our well here, or our section here. It says sections 1 record, and we're going to click on that. And then it gives you the legal description right down below it. So we're going to click on the section township and range, and it will bring up details over on the right. So these are all the wells that surface is in section 7-5 north 8 west. So we're going to scroll down our list here. Well, first of all, take note, you can export the list. So if I were to click on this, it would give me the option to use it as an Excel, a Word document, PDF, whatever you want to do with it. So back to our list, we're going to go down until we find our Narvel the Gart hog. So here we found our well. So we're going to click on the API number, and it gives us information on the well. So if we click on the current operator, territory resources, it's going to give us the information for that operator. So it's going to give us their address, phone number, email if we have it, their operator number, the status where it says open. That indicates that they have given us all of their paperwork, they're up to date, they're good to go on operating wells. So if it says closed, then either they're not in business anymore or they just have not submitted all of their proper paperwork at the moment. So if we click on wells here from the screen of the operator, it's going to give us all of the wells that that particular company operates. I could also go back over here to our find box and I could type in territory and I could find the operator that way. And then it would give me the same territory resources over here, and we could find the wells. Production is going to be all the gas production that they report on all of their wells in the whole state. So in the month of May 2020, they reported 1,497,612 MCF of gas total on all of their wells. So if we go back over here to our legal description, click it again, it's going to take us back to our section township and range. And then we are going to scroll down and we're going to find our Narvel the Gart Hog well. And we're going to click on the API number. In case you are not familiar with API numbers, just a little fun fact for you. 35 is the state code. So the first two numbers, 35, are the state code. It's always going to be Oklahoma. Oklahoma is always going to be 35. The next three numbers are the county code. So 051 is Grady County. The next five are the unique well identifier. So just fun fact there for you. We have a couple of chats. Listing of wells after you review it. What? Okay, so Jason wants to know, how would you go back to the first listing of the wells after you review an individual well? So to do that, I would just go back and click on the section township and range, and it would take me back to the first listing of wells. What was the other question we had? I lost my chat box here. Disposal well information. So if you have a disposal well, it's going to be in this list of wells. So these are going to be all wells, oil, gas, or disposal wells. So if we wanted to find the information about, so this 2R injection, this is a disposal well. So to find out more about it, we could click on the API number. Okay, so back to the Narvel the Gart Hog. So we're going to click on the API number, and it's going to bring up the information about our well. You have a side to sidebar that's going to be at the bottom of your screen, and so we're going to, unless you have a really big screen, we're going to slide that side to sidebar over, and we're going to find well documents. Click here. So this is going to take us to where we were in the other database, where we had all of the documents related to the well. Back to the well information here. One more thing before we move on. If you click on this production, this is one of the reasons I like this database better than the Well Browse database, because it has all of the years together. So you don't have to go back and search 2020 and then go back and search 2019 and then 2018. You can also export this list and again get a PDF, Excel, whatever you want to export it as. It's going to take me a minute here. We'll just close that. So back to the image document. So now we have our well here, but we don't know what the spacing of the well is. So we're going to click again on our well images. So we're going to click on, these are all of the documents again related to the well. So we're going to go over to the effective test date. If we click on that once, it is going to put our images in order of oldest to newest. If we clicked on it again, it would just flip them. You can also search by any of these. You could sort them by any of these, but for our situation, we want to sort by test date. So we're going to find the most recent completion report, which is this one at the bottom that was done in February. So this well was recompleted in February. So we're going to click on the blue number, the blue ID number on the left to pull up this particular document. So this is the completion report for this well, Narvel the Gart Hog 1-7. We see here that we have a directional hole, and we plugged off the Dees and recompleted to the Yule Funk formation. So this information over here will give you the original spud date, first production date, completion date, recompletion date. So these documents will look different depending on what time frame they were from. So when one in the 90s is not, it's going to be handwritten or typewriter written instead of this. So we're just going to scroll down here to the second page, and we see a box for spacing orders. So if we write down this order number 393794, and we see the unit size is a 640. So let's pretend that we wanted to verify that that spacing is still accurate. Is there a limitation on the Excel export rows? Can you pull a production online at the well level for an entire county, such as Dewey County? I am not sure. Let's try it. I think, so we're going to switch to advanced filter, and we're going to select Dewey County. Hit find. Wells. No, I don't think we're going to be able to do it that way, because this is just going to give us all of the wells in Dewey County, and it's only going to give us the top 50 because it's too much information. No, I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to be able to do it that way. Okay. So now I'm trying to find the spacing order to verify that this really is a 640. So we're going to open a new web page, back to our home page, and we're going to go to divisions, oil and gas, and then over and down to imaged documents. A little over halfway down our list here, we're going to click on OAP orders and case files. And then in our order number box, we're going to type in that order number that we just saw, 393794, and hit enter. Then we have the order number, and then if we hit the ID, it'll bring up that order for us so we can read it. If I wanted to look at all of the orders or all of the documents related to this case, I could substitute instead of the order number, I would put in the case number in the case number box, take out this order number. This particular one may not have anything else other than the order because it's old, and I was accurate. It doesn't have anything else, but the newer ones will have the application, the notice of hearing, the notice of publication, all of that information. Do we have any more questions real quick? Okay, I think so. I think we're caught up. All right, so now we want to make sure that they haven't changed the spacing on that formation since they drilled the well. So again, back to our home page. We're going to go to divisions, down to oil and gas, over and down to databases. Scroll down and click on case processing web application. So this used to look very different, and it was a very old software. So that software wasn't going to be compatible anymore, so it went away. And for a while we didn't have anything. And so we worked really hard on trying to get this database up and running for you guys. It's not perfect. If you guys use it and there's anything that you think, well, it would be a lot easier if you would make this one change to the database, please shoot me an email, and I'll give you my email at the end. Please shoot me an email and say, I would like for this database to be able to do this. I will send that to the programmers and see if that's an option. So we're really trying hard to make this as user-friendly as possible. So this is our new case processing online. So in our section, we're going to put 7, and then always put zeros in front, and then 05 and then 08 west. If we wanted to narrow it down by only spacings, we could hit this relief sort button, and we could see that spacing code is 50. And so we could put, oops, need to hit the back button. We could put 50 in this box. We could put case type CD in this box, or we could leave it blank and it would just bring up all of them. So search here, and then we're going to scroll down, and it's going to give us all the spacings for that section, township, and range. So this one from 93 and then one from 95, we could hit link to imaging. It would take us over back to our imaging where we could look at the documents. But if we click on this little box here, it will bring us more information, including the docket, which will tell us if this were a new case, it would tell us where it is in the system. So if we went to the very last page, it would say the last thing that happened. So in this case, an affidavit of mailing order happened on July 19th, 1995. If this were a new one that we're still in the process of being heard, it would say scheduled for June 15th to 2020 at 8 o'clock and with Judge so-and-so. All right. So this is the new case processing web application. So again, you can search by case number, you could search by section, township, and range. By the way, section, township, and range was a lot harder to do in our old system, and also our old system only went back to the mid-90s. This one, I believe, will pull up anything, which is really helpful. You have your order number, your party name, that you can search by. You can also search by filing date here. So now we know that since 1995, they never changed the spacing of this well. It is still spaced at a 640. So we can be confident that anybody who owns interest in that formation, in that 640 acres, would be considered held by production on this well, since it is producing. We saw production on there. So now we want to see, well, is this well producing oil? This is where the tax commission's website comes in handy. A few years ago, the tax commission made their database accessible to the public, but it is only has about a year of information. Does it show you here? I Googled, can you see my Google history where I Googled Zach Morris's dad earlier today. So I'm going to go to ok.gov /tax for the tax commission's website. I think I have another question. How can you locate the final order of the commission for a multi-unit horizontal well if we don't have the order number? Do you have the case number? So if you have the case number, we'll just go do this really quick. Okay, so they don't have the case number. Back to our, let's see if I can find it. Might have closed it. Can you give me a section, township, and range? Anybody have a section, township, and range where they know a multi-unit application is? Okay, 2833 4 North 4 West, thank you. Okay, so first we're gonna go over to imaging. I'll just start over. OCC web. So divisions, oil and gas, over and down to image documents. Down to OAP, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have the case number, so that's not gonna work. We're gonna go back to our homepage then. And we're gonna go divisions, oil and gas, over and down to databases. And we're going to scroll down and use case processing web application. So we had section 28, 4 North, 4 West. And we're gonna search. So we're gonna scroll down and we're gonna find which one is our, probably a newest one. So we're going to go to the end. So we wanna figure out which one is our multi-unit. Okay, let's go back up here and narrow it down to multi-unit. So 107 is our code. So we're gonna put in 107. And we're gonna put a CD and we're gonna hit, 28, 4 North, 4 West. Search, scroll down to the bottom, didn't bring one up. Okay, here's one. So if we hit this box, scroll down to the bottom and we can look at the docket. Go to the very last page of the docket information and then it'll say final order and it gives you the order number here. You could also click on link to imaging and it'll give you all the image documents relating to that case. If I put it in order of date range, we can find the last order number that was issued for this and open it up and see if it's actually final order, and it is. If that is something you're needing to do and I went too fast, email me and we can go over it again. All right. So now back to our Narvel the Gart Hog well. We're at the Tax Commission's page, ok.gov/tax. We're going to go to the All Taxes button right in the middle, and we're going to scroll down to Gross Production. Click here, ignore the side menu that goes over to the right. Scroll down, and we're going to click the top bullet point, Public PUN Search. PUN stands for Production Unit Number, which is how you report taxes to the Tax Commission. Scroll down, click on Search PUN. And then we can search by any of these options, but we have to only choose one. And we choose one by clicking the little circle next to Search by Legal. And that activates this field. We're gonna leave the quarter section blank because if we have any that are the entire 640 and we narrowed it down just to the northwest quarter, it would narrow out all of them that are all. So we're just gonna leave that blank and we're gonna put it in our section, township, and range, 7, 5 North, 8 West. And then we're going to hit search. And this brings up all of the PUNs that are active or non-active in that section, township, and range. If we scroll down, we find Narvel the Gart Hog. There's 2 of them. So we need to notice which one is, we might have to look at both of these actually. But please take note that on the Tax Commission's database, plugged and abandoned does not necessarily mean plugged and abandoned. Sometimes it is plugged and abandoned. But in 2011, they went through and they marked everything that hadn't produced in a year, I believe, as plugged and abandoned. They now are trying to go back and change those to shut in, which is helpful, but still not 100% accurate. I believe it should say inactive. But just take note that if it says plugged and abandoned or shut in, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's plugged and abandoned or shut in. You need to go back to our site and verify if there's a plugging report. And you also want to look at them and make sure that there's not production listed. In this case, there is. So on the shut in one, we're going to click on the long blue number, which is the PUN number. And then it'll give you a PUN details box. The far right says production history. We're going to click on that and it's going to show us all of the production that they've reported to the Tax Commission in about the last year. It's going to be about 4 months or so behind, and it's going to be a rolling year. So once April of this year comes on, then April of last year is going to fall off of this. So I think we might have a question. Oh, okay. So we know that this well produced oil last, reported by Sunoco, 149.65 barrels. 1 is oil, 5 and 6 are gas. The key is down here at the bottom, if you don't remember that. And then, let's see. So last production was December of 2019 for oil. So say we think that that might be incorrect. Maybe we think that there's been production more recently, but since the Tax Commission's database is behind, we just want to verify that. We are going to take this company number over here, which is 21108, and we're going to write that down. And then we are going to go back to our PUN number details, and we're going to take down this long number here. Just write it down. Then we are going to go back to our home page. This is, I'm showing you now how to look up the oil reports from our website. So sometimes you can fill in the gap. It's not terribly time efficient, but you can use it. So it's there for you to use if you need it. So we're going to go back to divisions, down to oil and gas, and then over and down to imaged documents. Then the first option is oil and gas production. Click there. Then we are going to select form number 300R. This is the oil purchaser report. And then in our purchaser number, we're going to write down or type in that number that was on the far right, this underneath the company number. It was 21108. And we're going to hit search. This is going to bring up all of their oil purchaser reports that they've submitted to us. And it's going to be in order of dates, all the Januaries being together, all the Februaries and so forth. So our last production that we know for sure was December of 2019. So now we're going to go look at January of 2020. So we scroll down till we find January of 2020's report, and we're going to click the ID number next to it. This is going to bring up their PDF, and it's going to be pretty big because it's everything Sunoco purchased in that month for the entire state. So this document is going to be in order of production unit number, which is this number right here in the middle. I hope you guys can see my cursor. So it's going to be this number here in the middle. So starting with the county code 003, which is not the one we're looking for. So we're going to scroll all the way down till we find 051, which is our PUN number. our county code for the well we're looking for. So now we have 051, and then we're going to look for 098. This is the number that we wrote down from the tax commission's page. So 098 691. So it's not listed here. So that means that Sunoco did not purchase from this well. Some companies will put everything on here, even if they didn't purchase anything. Some of them take it out if they don't purchase anything. So if we go over here to the right, if this were the well we were looking for, we would go to the right and it would be 162 barrels that Sunoco purchased from that well. This report is sorted by production unit number. So it's by its numerical order by production unit number. Okay. So this is how you look up production, oil production on our website. You have to know who purchased the oil and you have to know the production unit number. Okay, so someone pointed out that you can use the Control F for the find button. Unfortunately, it does not work on these documents. I'm not 100% sure why. I think it's the way that it's scanned in, but unfortunately Control F does not allow the find feature for these particular documents. It will bring up the box, but the box won't find anything. So you do have to just kind of manually sort through it. Okay, so now we're back to the tax commission site. Before we move on, I want to show you a few things that you'll probably want to take note of, especially if you're trying to look for other production in your section, township, and range. So if you'll note that there's a lot of these. So if you click on any of them, it'll open it up. This says Southwest Quarter, and then it tells me it's 160 acre spacing. Most of them give this information. I would go back and verify it just to make sure, but you can, if it says 160 in the Southwest Quarter, then you can almost always assume that this well is really 160 in the Southwest Quarter. If it were to say 80 acres, then you would definitely need to go find the 1002A and the spacing order number to verify if it's a stand-up 80, if it's a lay-down 80. You'd also need to look at where the well sits in order to know if it is like the west half or the east half or whichever portion of the 80 it is. You could get the operator information here. You'll want to verify this with our website because it's not always up to date. Lease legal, this will give you the name of the formation. This stuff right here I don't generally need. In the production history. This particular well hasn't produced in the last year because there's nothing listed. If it had produced in last year, it would be listed here. Another thing that you'll want to take note of, little information about PUN numbers. The first three numbers, again, are the county code. The next six numbers, the next six numbers are going to be the unique unit well identifier. This 0 is a sub number. Sometimes it'll say 1 or 2, but then the last four, the 0000 is the merge number. If it's anything other than 0000 on the merge number, which I'm going to show you one here, this 0450, this indicates that it's a unit of some sort. Usually it implies that it is a water flood unit. Not always. Sometimes it's a gas processing plant. Sometimes it's just a well that they kind of unitized with a few other wells nearby, but it's not technically a water flood unit. So there's two merge numbers here. There's 0101 and 0145. To I'm not 100% sure what either of these are. I looked at them earlier, but we're going to look at them together real quick just to make sure that there's not production for a water flood unit that we didn't really know existed. And if you don't know what a water flood unit is and you would like to know, just email me and we can talk about it. So we're going to hit new search and we're going to search by merge. Click on the little circle next to search by merge, and we're going to put those 4 numbers in there. So 0450. This is going to bring in all of the track numbers that are for that merge number. So it'll put them all there together. Neither of these are producing. We could click on them just to make sure. This is probably not a water flood unit because there's only 2. It's probably just some sort of weird unitization that they did probably in the 80s or something. So now we want to search the other one. So search my merge. We're going to click on 0101, hit search. This probably is a water flood unit with the tract 1, tract 2, tract 3. So these are how they reported for those tracts at some point. They're all plugged and abandoned. We would want to make sure, click on each of them, look at the production history to make sure there's no production there. But for our circumstances, so we don't go through all that, we're just going to assume we did, and these are all plugged and abandoned, so this is an inactive water flood unit. Probably called the Laughlin unit. The tax commission does not tell you what kind of, or what the name of the unit is. If you come across a unitization, a merge number, and you need to know what the name of the unit is, give me a call and I can help you figure out what the unit is. All right, so now I have shown you how to look up the tax commission, the oil production on our website as well. So now I would like to show you just a few other things that you can look up on wells using our website. So we're going to go back to our home page. We're going to go to divisions, down to oil and gas, over and down to image documents again. So we already looked at oil and gas production. Oil and gas well records forms. This comes in handy if you don't want to go through a database, or sometimes the really old documents are not indexed by API number. So you need to look up this way for the document. So I could put in my legal description here, and then it would bring up all of the images for that section, township, and range, so I could search them that way. Another thing that you could do here is if I wanted to know all of the new permits for, let's see, for Grady County this year, I could put in API number 051, because we know that's Grady County, and hit form number, drop down box. We're going to hit the permit, which is a 1000. And then we're going to put on our effective approved date. So January 1st through today. And then we are going to hit search. Scroll down, the 79. So there's been 79 permits issued. Some of them may be like a corrected permit or something, but 79 permits issued for Grady County this year so far. And then you could look at these and find out who permitted them, what they permitted, and so on. So that's where that comes in handy. If we hit this home button, it's going to take us back to imaging home, not the home for the entire website. Let's see, oil and gas well logs. So you want to see if our Narvel, the Gart hog, has a well log. You can put in the location here. And it'll give you the example of how it wants it entered to the side. So 7, 5 north, 8 west. Search, scroll down. These are all that we have for this section, township, and range. So you'll see we don't have the log for this. If you need the log for that well, then I would suggest contacting the OU Log Library, the Geological Society, or NOPEC, and I can get you that number, that phone number if you need it. So back to our imaging home. So we did well log. So say we do have a water flood unit. We're going to click on the unitization. We're going to put the unique name, the unique word in the unit name in our unit name box. Hit search. It's going to bring up all of the units that have Edmond in it. We can look through these documents until we find what we're looking for. In general, you're going to want the plan of unitization because it will have a unit map in it. So if you work with water floods, we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. Again, if you work with water floods or if you need explanation of water floods, just give me a call. I'll be happy to do that for you. Let's see. I think that's about it for this screen. A couple other things I wanted to show you on our home page is our rule book. So you can go to divisions, down to oil and gas, over and down to rules. Click there. Section 5, Section 10 are the two that apply to oil and gas. So we click here. And like someone mentioned before, if we hit Control F, this is activated for the find feature. Say you needed to know what your lease sign is supposed to say. So we can type in lease sign and it'll bring up everywhere that the words lease sign is in our rules. So this says required lease sign. So then we could read the Corporation Commission rules on lease signs. The other thing I wanted to show you really quick, and then we'll open up for questions, is our data files. So we're going to go to divisions, down to oil and gas, over and down to data files. Here, the number 5 on the list is our operator directory. Don't print this because it's 564 pages long, but this is also enabled for the find feature. So all of the companies that have current surety should be listed here. It's updated monthly, so you should be able to find companies this way if you need their contact information. Also on this data files that we were at, you can also see the orphaned well list. You can see some disposal information. Someone was asking about those. You can also see some historical production data and so on and so forth. I don't deal a lot with these, but if you have questions, if you scroll all the way over to the right, it'll show you who to contact for that document. So this map of Oklahoma Class 2 UIC wells, if you have questions about it, call Patricia Downey. It gives you her phone number. One more thing I will show you really quick. Divisions, oil and gas, over and down to departments. You'll find public assistance, which is the department that I'm in. Scroll down and we have some really great links here for you. This top one, basic information for the Oklahoma royalty owner, is a booklet that we have put together that we think has a lot of great information. It explains in normal people terms the hearings that we have at the commission, as well as like what is horizontal spacing. It has some laws that apply to mineral owners and explains them, as well as all the county clerk's contact information. It just has some really good stuff for you. So if you are interested in looking at that, we think it's really helpful. So I think I am ready for some questions. I may have a few here. Melanie is going to talk to you. I think they're going to look into posting it on SOAR's website, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Let's see. On the data file screen, if you need historical versions of those files, What's the best way to get copies of that? For instance, if you have a file that is updated monthly, how can I get the last 12 months worth? Call the person who's listed over on the right and ask them. I'm sure that they can get that for you because they're the one who runs that report and they submit it to the website. So I'm sure that they could probably get that for you if it's available. So do we have any other questions? Oh, let me give you my email address really quick. It's Sydney, SYD.Davidson@occ.ok.gov. I'm also going to type it in the chat in case you are a visual learner. So Sydney.Davidson@occ.ok.gov. Do I have any other questions? Are you guys all ready to use our website now? Where can you find parts of the disposal well application that have been submitted? Tyler, if you'll email me, I'm going to get you in touch with someone in our UIC department because they deal more with that than I do. And I think they'll be able to answer all of your questions. So Tyler, email me. Melanie says a survey will be emailed to you guys for today's presentation. We really appreciate you guys filling that out and letting us know what you think. Anybody else have any questions?
Not at this time. Thank you for the information, Sydney.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. All right, I guess if we don't have any more questions, then you guys are free to go. Thank you for coming, and I hope that it was helpful. And please email me if you have any further questions, and let us know how we could make these meetings better. Thank you.